point today, is it?
It's all sloppy.
Six grinds or 3. 4.
Actually 9. That's pretty macros that Himalayan salt then.
Yeah.
Is it? So.
Hey guys, so today we're going to talk about if it fits your macro style of eating. So if you don't know what that is, that means eating the foods of your choice that fits within a certain bracket of your protein, carbs, fats and calories, as opposed to eating specific meal plans. So I guess we've all got different opinions on if it fits your macros and who is best for it, and you know who would really suit this style of eating and why would you do it. Like from a normal, I'll say normal quite lightly, I don't like saying that, but from a perspective where you're not going to be competing or you don't need certain nutrients at certain times for sporting events such as endurance events and stuff like that, my personal opinion is if it fits your macros, it's actually a good way to live your life. You know, it helps you learn more about nutrition, it helps you plan foods a lot better, it makes you understand nutrition a lot more because you're having to track things in a, I would say, normal day-to-day lifestyle as opposed to in like an elite kind of environment where you're going to be competing. So, you know, I quite like if it fits your macro style eating, especially when you're not in a competition phase or you're not going to go like to a really big cut like for a beef, or if you're not going to be doing certain things at like a certain bulk. I think it's a real good way to just eat.
It's a method of eating as well which can incorporate a bit of lifestyle. You can have food out with the missus on a weekend and not feel fucking guilty about it.
Yeah.
Like a big thing of what we do with our guys is try and educate them enough so they know how they can look at their food over a week period, how they can look at certain meals through the week and plan that in. Yeah, they don't need to demonise having a pizza on a Friday night with the missus because bodybuilding vibes and shredded. Like they can still get in good shape. You can still get in good shape in general by having a little bit more flexibility with your dieting approach over a week period, as long as there's some degree of tracking involved where you can factor them things in.
I think one of the key things that Danny's just said, it's the education side of things though, because what you often find with if it fits your macros is people then use it as a way of just eating shit, and that's what it's not about. If it fits your macros is generally, you could even call it the 80-20 rule to some degree. You know, the majority of the time you're eating healthy food, but then that 10-20% through the week you're going to be aiming for foods that you want to fit in, whether it's cookies, whether it's like you were saying, going out for a nice meal, you know, having a few beers. You can factor them in and manage your weight well. But the key principle to it is the education, because what you often find with people as well is they have the demonisation of foods, don't they?
Yeah.
So if they would have had, let's say we've got this...
Having a pizza?
Yeah, exactly.
Hell.
So if they see pizzas as bad, they don't realise that without fitting it into your calories, you know, you can still be healthy. So it's an educational standpoint from a coach's perspective to educate the client on food. Then they can use if it fits your macros effectively.
You know what? Sorry, Andy. Like last weekend, right? I was at a party. Everyone there who knows I'm a coach was, you having salad and that? Yeah, you having salad? They brought a big spread of like pizzas out, all little sausage rolls and shit. I'm like, no mate.
Yeah.
I don't want to eat chicken and salad all day. Like you get pigeonholed into a certain thing.
True.
You don't need to live that life.
Yeah, and you know what's important as well, like if it fits your macros, isn't a free for all. Okay, you can make if it fits your macro style of eating work very well for you with a decent education process, which means you can have bits and bobs. Like we're here now, it's Friday, we're having a little bit of food that's off plan. Off plan, we'll say, we're going to work it in a bit differently. Danny's got some naan bread there, I've got some salad because I know I'm going to be eating a lot more food tomorrow, so I'm going to be a bit lighter today because tomorrow I'm going out for a meal and I'm going all in. So, you know, this style of eating can work really beneficial for you, or it can go against you. It just depends on your mindset and your habits around it. Like, it isn't a free-for-all. You know, we still have to go off calories. Remember, calories are king, so it doesn't mean you overeat. It doesn't mean you disregard calories. It means that you have to eat to still a structure, but it's not a set meal plan. Like, we have some protein that you want to hit and you should track that. We have some carbohydrates that might be useful that you should track. And then calories are always going to be king, so you can't go over them calories. But the flexibility you do have is you can have a little bit of food off plan if you feel like it. You know, you can choose the foods that you like. You can eat the foods that you enjoy most. If you fancy a biscuit and a brew in the afternoon, you can do. But we still have to make sure it fits in with some kind of guidelines. Would you find it beneficial for people getting shredded? I wouldn't put somebody on if it fits your macros. I do a combination. So if you're sat there now thinking, yeah, I could do if it fits your macros and I'll get absolutely shredded, I do like a different approach. I go meal plan with a meal that's tracked. So for example,
they've got the info to be able to make a decision about having something else coming in, but it's not concrete.
So if you're getting shredded for a beefer, you've got 6 weeks. I'm going to put you on a meal plan, but one meal of the weekend, for example, or 2 meals in the week, you just get guidelines. You can eat whatever you want, providing you stick in with this amount of calories and you try and hit a certain amount of protein. So like you can use if it fits your macros as and when it suits. I would say the more extreme the goal, it can be done, but I would say the more extreme the goal, you would want to stick to more of a regimented, more of a structure with your food. Not just because of the food that you're eating, but because it gives you good decisions as well. Because when you get a little bit of flexibility, you want more flexibility. So from a psychological point of view, when you're sticking to a food plan, you're more likely to make better decisions throughout the day that's going to contribute to getting better results.
That's a big factor. It's the psychological element of a dieting process. Like, if you're just getting a bit leaner, it's cool. You can adopt this kind of fashion. If you're getting shredded, the way your mind kind of changes as you go through the process, you just factor in that little bit of something on a Saturday night with the missus, that could be the end of the game. 2-3 days later, you're fucked.
You're going to cheat again.
You've got to be very careful of how you implement it.
But it's that mindset thing again, like, if you're wanting to get shredded, why do you want to eat shit?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you want to take yourself to the extreme, you're going to do your very, very best to do everything possible to take you that far. You know, if you do have if it fits your macros, let's say you have 300 calories free each day, you have 4 hobnobs
every day.
Yeah, you have 4 hobnobs and your calories are gone. That's a full meal of feeling satisfied and full for the day.
Yeah.
Just for the sake of 4 hobnobs. So are you dieting for the right reason if you're going to an extreme?
Yeah. You know, technically you could get stage lean, you could get in very, very good condition for your holidays, whatever it might be, using if it fits your macros. You could do that technically. But I don't feel like many people do achieve it because it is too lucrative. It's just too much flexibility for people's mindsets to cope with. Not the food.
It's too hard on the mind.
It's too hard on the mind because it's a bit all over the place, where most of the time when we get a little bit more regimented and a bit more of a structure, we tend to get better results and people's mindsets are much stronger. They make better decisions for the rest of the day. So a combination of a food plan and if it fits your macros, or like Zach said, a certain amount of free calories per day that you can have of your choice, or one meal at the weekend that you track, we always find that that's probably the best way to get really good results but still have some kind of flexibility as well.
A lot of the time the people obviously who are going to the extremes as well, they don't have room for that flexibility because everything is rigid, the time scale, what they do each day, the routine that they're doing, the way they train, all that kind of vibe. Even mealtime is down to that degree. Like, for you to say, right, you've got sometimes you've got a free meal, they're like, nah, fuck that.
Yeah.
Can't do it.
It is on an individual basis. Yeah. You know, it does depend on so many factors of what kind of nutrition plan you should be put on or that you would choose to be on. Like I say, the more extreme the goal, the shorter the time frame, the further you are away from your goal, you don't get any flexibility. If you're fat, you've got 6 weeks to go and you want to get shredded, you don't get no flexibility. You get to eat exactly what's on the plan, purely because you want the results quickly and you're far away from the results. You know, if you've got a really good relationship with food, you're not too far away from the goal, you could probably stick with a lot more flexibility towards the end goal. It just depends on how shredded or how lean you want to be. You know, that'll dictate how structured you are with your diet, and your mindset around food will dictate if you choose if it fits your macros or more of a structured plan.
Best way of doing that is find out for yourself.
Yeah.
Adopt both styles and see what sits best with you. That's the key thing with any of this.
Definitely. And again, remember, it's not a free-for-all. You still have to calculate the calories, you still have to go off the BMI and activity rates, you still have to make adjustments as you see fit. If it fits your macro calories, are the same as the planned calories, and just like you have to create a calorie deficit with a plan, you still have to create a calorie deficit with if it fits your macros. Like, you don't just stay on those calories throughout, you still have to make sure you're in a deficit. So for example, you've got 2,000 of if it fits your macros, the week after you might have to go to 1,800 calories of if it fits your macros. The principles are all still the same for fat loss, providing you're creating that deficit and you can continue creating that deficit as you get leaner, then fat loss is going to occur, but the flexibility side of things becomes a bit more difficult when you start to restrict them calories. If you're looking to gain mass, if you're on a mass plan, if it fits your macros, it's quite easy, it's pretty good, providing you've got enough protein.
All day.
Pretty much you can, the hardest part of the mass plan is actually consistently hitting that amount of calories each day and hitting your protein goal. So protein goal, hitting the amount of food you need 7 days a week is the toughest part of it, rather than the food choices. But yeah.
I can't say it.
Lovely.